Hello, welcome to the latest episode of To the Edge. With us today are cast members from the series Family Problems. It is a web series produced by Angelwood Pictures, and Seth Chitwood is the producer. With me today is co-host Mike Messier.
Glad to be here as always, Roland. Thanks for having me back.
My pleasure. All right, so we're going to start by asking these cast members about Family Problems and their experiences with the series. But first, I'd like them to introduce each other. We'll start this way.
Okay, I'm Teresa Chason, and I play the role of Molly Soloway in Family Problems.
Peter Morse, and I play Henry Soloway, her husband, in Family Problems.
And I'm Vicki Lynch, and I play Jennifer Grady on Family Problems.
In a nutshell, what is Family Problems about?
Yikes.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell, yeah.
Yep.
That's a really big nut.
2 nutshells.
You're exposing the general audience to family problems.
Okay. It's probably best described as a story about secrets. So it's a family unit, which is Henry and Molly and their 2 kids. And then Jennifer comes into their life from Molly's past and sort of rocks the world. And it's all about how one lie sort of leads to another, and how that works out with everybody keeping secrets and is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a murder mystery.
It is a
Okay.
little bit,
Yeah.
right.
From what I understand, the show is now in its 2nd season.
It is, yes. The 2nd season will be airing November 14th. Right.
Can't wait for it.
It's very exciting.
But I imagine you can't really talk about the 2nd season yet.
Right.
So
Oh,
let's
yeah.
discuss season 1.
Okay.
And this is the brainchild of Seth,
Seth
Seth
Chitwood.
Chitwood.
yes,
Right,
and
who
he's
is-
very experienced with web series. We've had him on the show before.
He is. This is his, it's at least his 3rd web series. And he's an amazing kid. I can say he's a kid because,
Sure.
you know, but he's really very talented, and he's got quite a mind. But, so this is his 3rd series,
Yep.
and it's something. So season 1 starts actually with the Soloway family burying a body in the woods. Rather than calling the police, they found a dead body in their house and they bury it, thinking that
Right.
that's it and everything's going to be great.
Clear and simple.
Yeah, it's really not that simple to bury a body in the woods and go on with your life.
I know
Why
that from
not just call
personal
the
experience.
cops?
See, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Mike knows about that.
Someone's always watching.
Exactly.
That's right, those pesky neighbors.
Yeah.
And Vicki, how did you get involved in the series?
Actually from Teresa.
Okay.
I've known Teresa for a couple years, and she mentioned to me over 2 summers ago now, a friend of hers, Seth, was doing this web series in Rhode Island, and she was like, well, are you interested? She knows I do theater acting, and she asked if I was interested, and I said, sure. So I went down to Rhode Island, and I auditioned for Seth, and about a week later he called me and said, do you want the part of Jennifer? And I said, sure,
Great.
why not?
Nice. And Peter, what about yourself?
My first time I met Seth was an audition for his web series, Red Circles.
Okay.
I played Tom Waters in that, a husband in that also. And then he approached me when he was coming up with the idea for Family Problems and asked me if I would play the husband, the male, Henry, and I said, sure, why not? I mean, he's a young kid, he does great work.
Right.
He does a lot of work. He's got his fingers and everything, he's always busy. And his work gets out there.
Yes.
I mean, he's as far as from here to LA with, his web series and his the awards that he gets. So, I mean, that's the kind of people you want to work with.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And because he edits his own material for the most part, it does get finished. And that's always
He doesn't
good.
have to rely on anyone else. Yeah.
Right. Because editing takes so much time and energy and concentration on the computer, and
Yep.
as Roland knows from this show.
I also edit this series, and I've done other editing projects, so yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you become involved with the series?
The same actually as Peter. I responded to an ad, maybe on NewEnglandFilm.com or something, for Family Problems. No, for Red Circles. And I was cast in the role of Sarah Waters, who actually is the sister-in-law of Tom Waters, although we never interact together.
Never saw her.
Nope, never knew each other. And then I did a little bit part in The World's Worst Director, which was Seth's second series. And then he asked if I would be interested in doing the pilot for this one. I said yes, and history was made. So it's been great working with Seth. He's really something, and it's nice because he's involved in the whole thing. It is truly his brainchild. You know, he doesn't. It ends up being what he has as a vision all
Right.
the way through, which is nice.
Yeah, he takes it from start to
Yeah.
finish.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
Yeah.
Right.
From birth to earth.
That's it.
Exactly.
I like that.
I just came up with that.
Nice.
From birth to earth.
Write that down.
Really.
Yeah. Or we
Heard
could
it
just
here
type
first.
it up on the screen.
Or we could
From
type it
birth
on
to
the
earth.
screen. There you go.
Yep, right there.
Nice.
What's your favorite part about Family Problems? Anyone can jump in.
Favorite part about Family Problems? I have to think. Besides the great cast, because we all mostly get along, thankfully.
Yeah.
But my favorite part is while we're filming, like certain things, like I just found out who the murderer was recently. So certain things that you piece together, and then you see other parts that you weren't there to film, or other things like that, and you see them put together. Like Seth just premiered a promo for season 2, and you see things that you never got to see before in filming and put together. It's kind of awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, the promo looks good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
How about you guys? What's your favorite?
I don't know if favorite's the right word, but one of the challenges for me is playing 3 different ages.
Right.
I play a woman in her 20s/30s who is the mother of Jennifer. And then I play a woman in her 50s married to Henry with 2 kids. And then I play a woman in my 80s sort of flashing back to the whole thing. So it's really been a challenge to not only look different, you know, different wigs, different makeup, but sort of carry myself differently, and be that person at a different age. You know, I think
Right.
it's sort of easier to play older because in many ways that's just sort of smaller
Sure.
and more condensed. But then to play younger is, you know, what was I like when I was 30? You know, how did I move and how did I walk and how did I talk? And
Right.
and plus the character of Molly in her 30s was not anything like the character of Teresa in her 30s.
Right.
So that's been a challenge to play all
Wow.
3 eras.
Same character, 3 different
Same
ages,
characters,
same
right.
series.
And every episode has my character in all those 3 different ages. And I'm the only one that does all 3 ages. Vicky does as a 10-year-old. I know, yay me. Vicky does a 10-year-old and then a 30-year-old, a 16-year-old and a 30-year-old. But I'm the only one that does that 50-year span. And I wasn't sure it would work, but I think it
Yeah.
has.
Nice.
You know.
Yeah.
See, I'm lucky. I just play Henry.
Just the same
Dig some
age.
holes and I'm all set.
Exactly. Bury some bodies.
Well,
you
the
know.
fun thing for me is it's a lead role.
Yep.
There's only one other cast member that I've worked with before. Everyone else is new. So, and I just enjoy filming. I mean, I had a chance to join SAG in September, and I went to the office, had the meeting, and I asked them, I said, look, I'm committed to this web series that I haven't started yet. You know, it's non-union, can I still do it? And they said no. So I walked out of the office and said, okay, I'm not joining, only because, you know, I wanted to do this project. And it was a good,
Means a lot to you.
yeah, it does. Not only that, the new cast, plus I wasn't going to back out on them in the last minute, you know?
Yeah.
We
Right.
appreciate it.
So it all worked out. Everything happens for a reason, so
It's great.
it's all good.
I was gonna ask-
Exactly.
go ahead, Roland.
I was just going to ask about the challenges of actually playing a different character. I mean, well, the same character at different ages. What's it like particularly to make yourself a 10-year-old?
Well, obviously I was a 10-year-old about 8 years ago. So I had to think, and I did this with my audition too, was I had to think, okay, what was I like when I was 10? I'm not going to yell at somebody, I would whine. I
Right.
would whine, and I'm going to swing my legs. I'm not going to sit there like patiently. And when I was acting with Teresa, it was like, I'm painting, and this is season 1, I'm painting, and I'm like, okay, what would 10-year-old Vicky have done? And Jennifer is not anything like myself at all. But I was like, 10-year-old would swing her legs, she would paint, she would whine, she would throw things, she would throw a tantrum, she wouldn't, you know, try to talk it out or whatever it was. So that was a challenge, but I could channel it, you know what I mean? I could channel for myself. So it was, yeah.
What about on the other end, making yourself 30?
To me, I don't think it was as difficult because I don't really know how to explain it. I don't think I'm like mature. I think I'm mature, but like not a 30-year-old mature. And so it was kind of like you have to. My other actors, my co-stars, are also 30 years old.
Sure.
They're much older than I am. So I kind of used that to channel off of myself, I guess. I don't know.
If it works,
Yeah.
if it
Yeah.
works, do it.
Right.
And some of you guys have a lot of theater experience. I know, Teresa, you run a theater, or you've had some experience running theaters.
Most of my experience is theater. This is, as I said, my third web series, and then other than that, I've done two other films. So most of my history is in theater. And I have been president of a community theater for years, and right now I'm directing a show in Plymouth with Priscilla Beach Theater, and I'm directing a show with Bay Players of Duxbury, and I'm performing a show in Boston with the Owl Theater Company about women who get out of prison and how they deal with that reentry into their lives. So yes, theater is my is where I come from, and it's very different. Theater
Yes.
is it's a lot more spontaneous. It's a lot more fluid, if you will.
Right.
You can do every night at rehearsal, every night in a performance, you can do something a little different. And on film, your editor will lose his mind
Right.
if you do everything's a little bit different. He'll say, I got this great shot and your hands were here, and then I got a great shot and your hands were here, and what am I supposed to do with that? I don't know. So it's very different.
Continuity.
Yeah.
Be a little
it's
creative
hard.
with the shots.
Yeah, exactly. He has to be very creative with me. I am a film director's nightmare because I tend to do a lot with my hands.
Well, just listening to what Vicki was saying about playing the different ages, and yourself and Peter, it seems like you guys are taking your backgrounds as actors into this project and doing so much research and even just thinking about these characters so well. I mean, that's great for Seth as the writer, director, producer of this piece, because that way he knows the actors are going to bat for him and they're bringing their A game.
Right.
You know.
It's also nice to have him on the set as the screenwriter to be able to say, this is the line. What does my character mean by saying this?
Right.
Because I may have an idea that's different from his, or I may have no idea.
Well,
and he can
that's the
say,
age difference, him being so young
Right.
and writing it.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
You could tell, well, a lot of things reading through the script while acting it out is, Teresa and I will say, we'd never say that.
Right, yeah.
Because it would be as a young kids talking.
Right.
Other than that, everything's great. Other than that.
Well, we also bring our life experiences, whether it's healthcare or law enforcement or parenting, or, we bring that stuff to the set. So
Right.
that's helpful, I think, too, because, as a 22-year-old, you don't know what it's like to be a parent of a teenager. But if you are the parent of a teenager, you can sort of bring some of that in. So, and Seth's great with, listening and taking it all in. So it's fun. And as Vicki said, the cast gets along great. Season 1 had a cast of 10.
Yep.
And there was actually a day when Seth said, okay, so I feel like I'm a guest at your dinner party and you're all, and it's true. I mean, we get along so well. So then season 2, we doubled the cast, and I was a little afraid, to
Right.
add 10 new people to the party. But he did a great job casting, so we still all get along, which is great.
Without spoiling anything, are they 10 new main characters or 10 new supporting characters?
Mostly supporting, because the story still revolves around Molly and her family, and then the detective whom you'll meet at the next interview, I guess, who interviews my character when I'm in my 80s.
Okay.
So those characters remain the same, and then we just add other characters. So the main characters don't change.
Okay, good, because if you have like 20 characters to focus on, that must be a nightmare.
Yeah. No, there's they're support characters, I
Yeah.
guess, if you will.
It's good. How many episodes are there for the second season?
13.
13, I think.
13.
Yeah.
Same as the first?
Yes.
It's good.
How long is each episode?
Between 12 and 15
15,
minutes,
yeah,
I would
sure.
say.
Okay, great. That's pretty intense. I mean, that's a nice length for a short film. You know, just a short film is 12 to 15 minutes. Someone can put a lot of effort and energy into making that. I know I have. And
Right.
Just
Yeah.
like a half-an-hour TV show without the commercials.
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a bit shorter than that, but yeah. Well, maybe not these days because of the amount of commercials.
Just a lot of commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and people's attention span is not really longer than that. I
Right.
mean, I grew up with hour-long series, you know, once a
Yeah.
week, an hour-long show, and people don't like to sit still for an hour anymore. You know, they want to
Insane.
sit still for 12 to 15 minutes and bada bing, move on to something else.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, a lot of people are watching content on their handheld devices,
Yeah.
their smartphones, their tablets.
Right.
Myself, I don't have a smartphone. I have a reasonably intelligent phone.
well, okay. You know,
my phone
we
is
won't
that.
hold that against you.
That's smart, but reasonably intelligent. I like that.
I just
Phone joke from birth to earth is all I got.
I just got a smartphone. Sometimes I think it's pretty dumb though.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just fantastic. One thing I want to pick up on is what you were saying about when the director Seth feels like he's at your party. Sometimes what I say similar to that with my short films or feature films is I feel like when I've done my job, I'm no longer the director. I'm a spectator. You know, like I feel like I bought a ticket to the performance, even if it's on a movie set, you know, or a small set. I feel like these actors are creating amazing things, and I'm just enjoying the ride. You know.
Right. It's such a
That's-
different experience actually seeing them act out the scenes that you're going to see on the screen later on.
Yeah.
It's like a stage play,
Right.
or like a three-dimensional film that you're literally in.
Yes.
Never
Yes.
mind all the equipment.
Right.
Yeah. And I wonder if you lose something like that as you get it. I mean, this is just kind of an esoteric thing, but if you're doing these big budget projects that come to Boston area these days, like the Robert Downey Jr. movie and Denzel and everybody, Denzel Washington, do they lose that intimacy, you know, that comes with a smaller set, with a smaller cast and crew? Do these big productions, I think it's up to those actors, your Denzel Washingtons and so forth, to really keep it together.
Well, you have
That's why-
subgroups
Yeah.
within that large group.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, from top to bottom, from the indie level to the major motion, millions of dollar budget movies, it's hard work.
Right.
You know, we all know that. It's not easy. And I don't know if you want to talk about it, Peter, but you've had some success recently. Is that something you want to talk about, or not really?
Well, okay, it's
It's up to you. It's up to you.
I've recently been cast as the lead role in a Discovery Channel movie. That's the best thing I've ever had so far, as far as, you know, pay
Right.
and lead role and all that. So I mean, I put my dues in, though. You know, I've been acting for about 12 years, taking anything I could get, you know, to build up a resume to get where I am now. So, but yeah, I get the audition through CP Cast, and then I'll be
That's great.
playing Albert Del Salvo in the Boston Strangler.
That's incredible.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very exciting.
Are there any other credentials that you have?
Not
She
really.
has plenty.
No, not really. I just do a lot of theater.
Just nothing. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said you've been acting since you were 5 or 6?
Yep, I used to go to a performing arts school actually in East Bridgewater,
Yep.
Capcioni School of Performing Arts.
Nice.
And I went there when I was 5. I went there and then I quit because I didn't want to fake cry.
Okay.
Yep. And then I went back when I was in about 6th grade, and I was there for 5 years.
Nice.
And then from there, I just kind of I stopped doing theater a little bit to focus on more music.
She's an amazing singer.
Oh, thank you.
Really?
Yeah.
Do
A
you know
musician. Well, no, I wasn't. Yeah. No.
I think you could be an actress and a
musician.
performer.
Yeah.
She's
So
an amazing musician. She's
yeah.
very good.
in high school theater, and that's about it.
What, do you play an instrument or sing? or
I
both?
play guitar and piano a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you have varied experience.
Yeah.
It's good.
I guess.
And so young, too,
Yeah, exactly.
right? She's got a long, long road ahead of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
We'll be seeing you do great things in the years ahead.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
This is just the beginning.
Yep.
Right? That's what I meant by young.
Yeah,
You got a long road ahead of you.
And Teresa, you've run theater companies, as you were saying earlier. And how did you get started in acting? I'm curious.
Oh, it's such a long story. I was told in high school that I couldn't act, so
Uh-oh.
I used to sing. I was cast in musicals because I'm spinning in my chair because
So was I.
I could sing. So they would put me in the back row to sing through everyone else, and then that was it. I never tried again until about 13 or 14 years ago.
Okay.
I auditioned for a role in Guys and Dolls.
Nice.
And they then decided that they wanted a drunk. So I played it, had more fun with it, and thought, I like this.
Nice.
And so since then, I've done about 5 shows a year.
Isn't it sad that someone in a position of supposed authority can discount someone's talents at such a young age and really almost squash them? And lucky, good for you that you didn't let that happen.
Well, and I'm fortunate that it wasn't a dream of mine, so I didn't, I just thought, okay, I can't do that, so I'll do other things.
Right.
But yeah, to have somebody say, oh, you can't do that. And I went, okay, apparently I can't do that, so I won't even try. So I sang Sweet Adelines for 20 years and sang Barbershop and did all of that, and that was great, but still in the back of my head was, I can't act.
Right.
So then I channeled my best Carol Burnett as a drunk, and
Yeah.
exactly, and scratching my head. So it's a lot of fun. But
Yeah.
you were saying before about the directing piece. It's I feel the same way when I direct on stage, that as an actor you're a part of it till the end, and as a director you cast it, which is the hardest thing, I
Right.
think, and then you lay out the ground rules of how you want it to go, and then it's like, okay, go ahead. It's like you're
Right.
pushing the birds out of the nest, and they do their own thing. And as much as that's a wonderful feeling, it's also a feeling like, can I come too?
Right.
Can I go with you? So
Well put.
I like both sides of it, though.
That's great.
Good. I have perspective on both sides of the camera now. I've done some acting, but I've mainly been behind the camera.
Right.
But when I direct in the future, it'll help give me that extra perspective.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think some of the best directors are actors.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What are you guys? Maybe we have time for just ask quickly other projects or other interests, even outside of acting. Anything you guys want to talk about?
Go ahead.
I'm a nurse in
Really?
real life, so that's and I'm blessed in that my passion professionally is hospice nursing,
Okay.
and I get to do that. And then my passion in the other side of my life is acting and directing. So I'm living the dream.
Fully
It's a beautiful
developed.
thing.
Both worlds.
Fully developed life.
It's great. I have no complaints.
Nice. Peter, what about you? I know you have various interests.
Yes, I'm a full-time police officer.
Yep.
Oh, good.
I'm in the National Guard also.
Wow.
And acting is, like I said before, when I got into it, it was a hobby. It was something to do. It was fun. It was exciting. You get to be on sets. You get to see these, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Ray Fiennes and all those first movies. But it's actually taken on more of a form of direction for me now, with things changing and coming up. So it's been good. And I stay busy.
You're getting these breaks, which is just awesome. You deserve it
Hey.
so much, man.
Oh, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
that's great.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Thank you.
And Vicky, as a young lady, you probably, as we said, you've got so many years ahead of you. But do you have any interest that you can talk about here?
Just music. Music is my passion. It's what I want to do with the rest of my life.
Tell them what you did this summer.
I just auditioned for American Idol. Is that what you're talking about?
Good.
Yeah. I didn't make it, but what I said is it wasn't meant for me, and bigger and better things will come from that. And it was a great experience, definitely, and it's what I plan to do.
Nice.
It's my goal. It's my dream.
Do
Great.
people on the street ever recognize any of you for being in Family Problems? Do they say, hey, I saw you on the web?
People from our high school, well, she was my
Right.
high school nurse, which is how we know each other.
Yeah.
People from the school that wouldn't normally talk to us or anything were like, I saw that family Problems, that web series thing you were in, and I really enjoyed it. It was awesome. When does season 2 come out? When can I watch it? But besides that, I don't.
Yeah, I don't get that many recognition because I look so different.
Yeah, yeah.
People have said, "Oh, you have gray hair." I do indeed,
Yeah.
because I wear a wig in all the different ages.
Yeah.
But not so much. I did do a show, a stage show, locally that won the regional competition, then went to the state level, won the regional level, went to international. So we were in North Carolina, and I was in an elevator one time. People said, "Oh, that's Bev," and I thought, "Yeah, it's me." So it is weird to have people think of you as sort of,
Sure.
you're that star. No,
Yeah.
not really, but thank you.
Yeah.
I don't get recognized for Family Problems. I got recognized for the commercials. The Swan River commercial and the iParty commercial. That's how I get recognized, but not. I'd like to
At
be.
least you get recognized.
I'd like it to be Family Problems, but
Right. Well, it's
It will
getting
be
there.
someday.
It's getting there. Yeah.
Getting back to family problems in general, discussing the actual program, you said that each episode is somewhere in the range of 13 to 15 minutes, and there are 13 episodes per season.
Yep.
Is there a continuing storyline where if you combined all the episodes, it would make like a feature film?
It's funny that you should ask that. Seth has actually put together, only for a few of our eyes to see, season 1 into a one-shot deal. It's just a little under 2 hours, and it's pretty interesting. I think it could work. You have to take out the what the heck am I trying to say?
Fade outs
Coming
and
attractions
stuff.
and you know
Right.
what happened last week on
Yeah.
Family Problems and
Yeah.
stuff. But it really does flow.
Nice.
Which is nice. Yeah.
Well, what I was going to mention earlier was that in the end of each episode, it is a continuation. So you always want, like, you see episode 1, you want it ends so that you
Right.
want to see what happens in episode 2, and it's always with that in every episode.
Right.
So that's why I think it works.
Well, and people that saw the last season of season 1, which was Vicky's character coming to our house and knocking on the door, and then it's sort of a da-da-da.
Yeah.
And people said, okay, you're leaving us with another cliffhanger? Because every week is sort of a little bit of a cliffhanger,
Yeah.
and now it's just like, okay, we have to wait till November? You know?
Yeah.
So they really do all fit together.
Nice. Roland, I think we've just got about a minute left, but what's our final question or our final words for these guys?
I don't have a final question so much as a final word. I'm really impressed with everything that I've heard about family problems, and I hope that this episode of To the Edge entices people to watch the series.
Definitely.
Yes, so do we.
Yeah.
And I'm really
So
looking
watch.
forward to season 2.
Yeah, great. So it's
Yeah.
angelwoodpictures.com/problems. And you can see all of the episodes there. You can see them also on YouTube. But if you Google Family Problems, you'll get a counseling service. So you have to do Family Problems web series.
Yep.
And there are also little teasers and interviews with the cast and stuff at Angelwood Pictures. So
Yeah. Well, I contacted that counseling service. They're very good.
I'm so glad I did. I hope they help.
A little bit.
Well, that's all the time that we have for this particular installment. We'll see you next week on To the Edge.